Good morning, students. Today we are going to study about Module 4, Responsibilities and Rights of an Engineer. Here in this module, we will be discussing the first topic is regarding collegiality. Collegiality means we are working in an organization. We are not alone in that organization. We have some co-workers, we have coordinators, supervisors, managers, etc. who are working along with us. So actually collegiality means it is the ability of a person to provide necessary support and cooperation with your colleagues, and it is actually a virtually presence of mind, and it will help to improve the teamwork because we are extending our support to our colleagues. And when you do that, we will get the three return. One is respect, one is commitment, and one is connectedness. Second term after collegiality is the loyalty. Loyalty is not connected to some organization. It is actually a general topic. It is something defined as it is the presence of devotion or faithfulness to a person, to some reasons, to some philosophy, country, etc. Loyalty means it is actually a wide. It is not connected to a single person. It is connected to the entire thing. We should be loyal to such and such things. And when you are in an organization, you should be loyal to the people who are providing necessary benefits to you by salary, by credits, etc. And we can provide the loyalty to the employer in two ways. One is agency loyalty, second is attitude loyalty. Agency loyalty means we are working under a contract with our employer or our owner of our organization, and it is actually we will be listed with certain rules and regulations by the owner or our employer, and our duty is to fulfill such rules and regulations. This is called as agency loyalty. Second one is attitude loyalty, and it is something connected to defining our attitudes and our sense of action, our emotions, and it will help to it is actually attitude loyalty means we are loyal with our emotions, we are loyal with our attitudes in front of other people. Next thing we are going to discuss about managing conflicts. It is actually a essay topic. So when you are having the question for the fourth module, we expect this question: managing conflict. Conflict means when you are asked to give some suggestions about some problems faced in your organization. We will suggest something, and it will be not agreed by the people or the co-worker, and there is a chance of conflict to happen. So by basically in general, we can define conflicts as a kind of opposition or intersection between two or more parties. Okay, and there are two things we can do it. We can make the conflict to a betterment of a party, we can make conflict to the destruction of a party. Okay, so if it is managed correctly, if the conflict is managed correctly, we are able to meet our organizational goals. If it is mishandled or we are promoting conflict to extend to a next level, definitely it will be considered as managing without any correction. Okay, so it will be a destructive conflict. And now we will list about the causes of conflict. First will be the unfamiliar language used while we are doing the conflict. Next thing is that we will have conflict when we are not when we are not complete with the information which we are going to study. Next will be the conflict with the organization structure. Maybe some people who are having much more experience but less degree certificates will be our head in something. So we will have some conflicts to walk under them. Next one is power struggles. Power struggles means we are not provided with the necessary power to get the access to anything, so it will result in conflict. So these are some methods that will help to reduce the conflicts. First one is collective bargaining. Collective bargaining means it is some negotiations happen between two people, and it will help to reduce the conflict. Next one is conciliation. Okay, so the conciliation means if there is any conflict between two parties, there may be some situations that the people who are under the lower section of the parties may not be aware about the happenings or the decisions taken by the leaders of that party. So they will result in some kind of strikes, conflicts, etc. So it is very recommend that we do the conciliation process, which is actually the leaders will sit together and they will discuss about the thing, and they will make the conflict to they will make the conflict to reduce to the lower level. Next thing is mediation. Mediation means if the party is having two conflicts, if the party is having conflicts, then a mediator will be standing in between these two parties, and if he has the right support from the two parties, such that he will advise something to reduce the conflict. Next one is arbitration. Arbitration is actually a person who is responsible, who is being suggested from the employer and the employee to take part in between the allegations between the employer and employee, and definitely he has the right to provide the necessary control to reduce the conflict. So these are the methods that will help to manage the conflict. So conflict management process has been listed into three categories. First one is preliminary step. Preliminary step is actually something connected to identify what exactly the reason for the conflict. Second thing is that what are the factors that can be faced when we are continuing the conflict. It will be considered as a diagnosing conflict. Next thing is conflict handling modes. Third thing is conflict handling modes. The first thing in conflict handling modes to create a virtual environment that will help to avoid the appearance of a conflict. Second thing is that if there is some issue is going to happen, the people will be aware about such issues, and they will place a mask above this conflict such that it will not come to the surface. Next thing is that mediation. Mediation means the person will be responsible to reduce the conflict. Okay. Fourth one is letting the parties to who are in between the conflict, and they were allowed to settle the situations or problems. And last thing is to solve the problems mutually uh, under definite support from the leaders. Okay, so that is about the conflicts, managing conflicts, methods for managing conflict, then the causes of conflict, and the last one, conflict management process. Okay, next one is respect for authority. Respect for authorities. We are under an organization. The authority may not be having that much knowledge about an organization, but he is the leader of the, he is the owner of the organization. So we should provide necessary support to that authority. So types of authority is being listed into two types: executive authority and expert authority. Executive authority is actually here the institution or the corporate provides some right to a person who has the power to handle the resources in that organization. It is said to be as executive authority. Expert authority, actually expert authority means organization skills should be very much needed. Initially it will be like they will take a mutual understanding between, for the skills of an employee. Later on, to move to the next stage or the advanced stage, the person should be having so much skill, so they will recruit some people who are having experience. So this is called as expert authority. And next thing is now we will discuss about a topic called as collective bargaining. So collective bargaining, by the definition, is the process of voluntary negotiations between the employer and the group of employees to resolve the conflicts is called as collective bargaining. So we know, we may be aware that some organization will be under laws to this employee strike, etc. They have some union or anything like that. Political parties will have influence on such employee trade union, and they will provide some negotiations with the employer such that their salary hike will be a negotiation part. Then providing the necessary support such as ESVP, PFI, etc., PF, etc. This will be some part where the employee will have a negotiation with the employer, and this is said to be as collective bargaining. So it is the people who are, it is the responsibility of the organization to provide necessary trade unions in the organization such that anything for the welfare of the employee should be taken care by the organization. So if it is not happening, definitely the strikes will be on, and there is a chance of closing of, shutting off the entire plant or entire organization. Okay, so this is what we call it as collective bargaining. So how we can deal with the union election, etc. So every organization will have so much employees present in that organization, and it is a responsibility of the organization to gather entire employee into a single trade union, and they will elect a leader from that particular employee who has the responsibility to have a direct deal with the employer. Okay, so this has to be established in every organization. It is not only for the beneficial, it is not only indicated that the strikes will be always on. It is something connected to have a direct contact with the higher authority to the people who are working for that particular organization. So this is called as collective bargaining. And we have different types of collective bargaining: distributive bargaining, integrative, attitudinal, and intra-organizational bargaining. So distributive bargaining, in this one, party's gain is another party's loss. Example, wages. Okay. So distributive bargaining is something connected to is provided with an example, wages, which means that employer who is uh, asking to share their profit with the employee will have a happy and joyful support from the employer. But if they are not ready to deliver or share the profit, that it will lead to some conflicts, which is called as distributive bargaining. Integrative bargaining. Integrative bargaining means a person who join an organization will be assigned with some task, and he will be getting bored, or he don't have any growth in his career even if he are doing the same work for continuously 3 or 4 years. So for the betterment of to improve the skill set, the organization should provide necessary training, which is called as integrative bargaining. Attitudinal bargaining. If the two parties, that is organization and the employer, is not in a correct sync between the work, definitely there is a chance of where we have to introduce attitudinal structuring that will help to increase the smoothness of the industrial relation. Intra-organizational bargaining. So there is a chance of having conflict between the employer and the management and the union itself. So it has to be taken care. It is called as intra-organizational bargaining. The 6 steps that will help to identify the collective bargaining. First one is we have to prepare the thoughts that has to be presented as a negotiation. And second thing is to identify what will be the results of our negotiation or bargaining. Next thing is that negotiation should have a certain procedure. This means that a person who is been appointed and appointed to a firm, and he is not provided necessary, like he joined in an organization for within a 1 month he asked for some increment, it is not recommended. So this is called as negotiation procedure. Next thing is that reaching the agreement man, the person will the leader will sit against sit along with the employer, and they will put forward the need of the employee, and employer will also has to display his problems and difficulties, and later they will come into an agreement. Ratifying the agreement means we are trying to clear the contents present in the agreement, and the last one is the implementation of the agreement. So that is all about the process of collective bargaining. And now we have the objectives of collective bargaining, so and advantages of collective bargaining. So these are the main objectives: to increase mutual confidence, to identify the terms and condition of the employment, to have a clear working environment for the establishment, and to identify the requirement of the employees, so that their happiness can be taken care. And these are some advantages of collective bargaining: collect control, etc., production, con- contentive, etc. So thanks all for till this is the first part. We have 2 more parts to complete.